All the participants, a very good morning and good evening. Welcome to today's session.
In today's session, let us start with HANA security. Security is nothing but to protect the data from unauthorized access of data. SAP HANA security is protecting the important data from unauthorized access. SAP HANA protects security by pro- providing some features. Those are one is known as user and role management. The second one is authentication. Third one is known as authorization. Fourth one is known as auditing. And the last one is known as encryption. So these are the security features. So coming to the user and role management, we interact with SAP HANA to perform modification, modification of the content, modifications of contents of the database. And to retrieve the information for for these operations, we require the database. Interaction with the HANA Studio in HANA database can be happened in the context of a database user, and it is limited by the privileges granted to the role is nothing but standard mechanism, standard privileges to SAP HANA. Coming to authentication, it is something a user identity, and there are five authentication methods in SAP HANA. Let us look at the authentication methods. The first one is password. The second one is Kerberos. Third one is SAML. Fourth one is X509 client certificates. And sixth one is SAP logon and assertion ticket. These are the authentication methods provided by SAP HANA. In password authentication method, this method requires HANA user to enter the username and password to log into the database. Password should be as per the password policy. For example, password length and the complexity of the password, lower and uppercase letter. And you can change the password policy as per our organization security standards. Next one is SAP HANA supports network authentication protocol called Kerberos. Kerberos can be used for direct client-server architecture. To authenticate user user using Kerberos method, Kerberos client must be installed on source in SAP HANA system, and SAP HANA system must be configured for authentication. Next one is SAML. It stands for security security SSN markup language. It can be used to it can be used to the user accessing HANA system, ODBC, and J, ODBC and JDBC client. SAP HANA can act as service provider, authenticate user, accessing via HTTP by SAP HANA SAP HANA Access. Next one is X509 client certificates. SAP HANA uses X509 client certificates as a basis for securing internal SAP HANA communication channels. In this method, users are authenticated by certificates that are signed from Trusted Certificates Authority, which is stored in HANA Access System. And the last one is SAP Logon Accession Ticket. It is used to authenticate the user in HANA system. These tickets are issued to the user. Then they log into SAP HANA, which is configured to such as SAP portal, etc. So this is all about authentication. Next one is authorization. Authorization is nothing but to give the permission to perform some database operations like create, display, and delete. In SAP HANA, authorization determined by privileges that has been planned to the user. When the user tried to perform some operations on on the HANA database, system performs system performs an authorization. Then all the required privileges System stops this check and grants the universal access. Privileges are six types. They are one is system privileges, second one is object privileges, third one is analytic privileges, fourth one is application privileges, fifth one is package privileges, and the last one is privileges on. So these are the six type of privileges in SAP HANA. So these are the six type of privileges. Next, let us see practically how to create users using password authentication. Open SAP HANA Studio. Click on OK. Here log on to H1D system. Click on log on. Here provide the password. Click on OK. Expand the security. Right click on users. Click on new user. Here we are going to create the new user. Here we can see the authentication method like password, channel, and Kerberos X509 SAP logon ticket and SAP assertion ticket. In real time, SAP HANA authenticates the user using the password. Password should be as per the password policy. Here we can see different authorization methods Authorization is nothing but privilege. Here we can see the system privilege, object privileges, analytic privileges, and etc. Let us see how to configure the password policy. To configure the password policy, double click on security. Here double click on security, click on password policy. Here we can configure password length, complexity, lower and uppercase letters, and user log settings. We can log the user for a period of we can set the values for parameters like user must change password and first log on, and number of alerts, change the logon attempts, and minimum password lifetime and maximum password lifetime. We can change the password policy as per your organization security. Here I would like to give minimum password length as 8. I don't want special characters, so that to deactivate the special characters, in the password list area we can specify the using the password. Here we have one blacklisted one, that is SAP. And if you want to add another, click on add symbol. Here enter the blacklisted word and enter the HANA, and select contained in password. That means password is not contained in SAP. Now click on deploy. Here we can see the password policy. Like this, we can configure the password policy. Now we'll create a new user by using password authentication. Click on new user. Here enter the username as SAP user. Enter the password as HANA at 1234. Contain the password. Now click on deploy. Now here it is showing an error, that is password is password is found In password policy, I backlisted the word HANA. That's why you're seeing this error. Now, I'm providing the password as welcome123. Now let us click on deploy. Here we can see SAP user. Here, expand the user. Right click on the user and click on refresh. Here we are going to see created user. Now, let us add the system to this user. System view area, click on add system. Here, provide the host name, SAP HAN, instance number 00. Now click on next. Here, enter the username. Enter the username as SAP user and enter the password as welcome123. Click on finish. Here we can change the password. Enter the old password. Here we are entering the password welcome123. So what I'll do is enter the password. Now click OK. So here you can see the password for the user, SAP user changed. Click on OK. So let us continue with
Smart data access. So what is smart data access? Smart data access means accessing data from non-SAP systems. When working on smart data access, so when we are working on smart data access, what is it is important? The first thing is creating a connection. A connection is established by creating a remote data source. So you can create a remote source to the source system. For example, so this one, so here you have the source. And here we have HANA is for HANA. So what we are trying to do over here. So first I would like to create one connection. So we would like to create a connection to the source. Now this source that we are connecting, it is majorly non-SAP systems. Also we have HANA, but also majorly we can access different systems like MS SQL, Oracle, Hadoop, Netezza. Please see, let me go back. Let us expand the system. Let us open this provisioning. So once I open this provisioning, Let me right click on the remote source, click on new remote source. Once I click on new remote source, so here we can see ASC, Teradata, IQ, HANA, Hadoop, generic ODBC, Oracle, MS SQL, Netezza DB2, MaxDB. So all these are different sources. All these are nothing but these are different sources. Let me copy this. So these are all different sources to which Smart Data Access can connect. So what we need to do here, we need to create a connection. So let me first create a connection. So let us go back to the HANA Studio. So what we need to do to create a connection, expand the provisioning. Under provisioning, you have remote source. Right click on the remote source, click new remote source, click on new remote source. So once we click on new remote source, let us give the name. So let me give the name as, so what I would like to do, I would like to connect to the source. Which source you would like to connect? So for now, I would like to connect to HANA. So HANA is a source and HANA is a target. So we are trying to connect to a source that is a downstream system. We are trying to access data on the fly, on demand, from source HANA to the target HANA. So what I'm trying to do, I'm creating a source HANA system. So I'll create a source underscore HANA. Let us give the server name to which you would like to create a remote source. So what is the server name? So here I'll right click on system, click properties, click additional properties. So 1 minute, I'm creating on system. Let me right click on best, click log on. So I'm logging into best. So let us open the provisioning. So I'm just using the system. So instead of using a system user, I'm using the best user. So I'll expand the provisioning. I'll right click on the remote source, click on new remote source. I'll give the name source underscore HANA. So let us give the adapter name HANA. Let us give the server name. I'll right click on the system, click properties, click on additional properties. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to copy the server name and paste it over here. Provide the port number. So we've given the server name. Let us provide the port number. Port number is 3001115. So this is the host and this is the port number. Let us give the port number here and provide the username. So username is best and the password is W capital welcome 123. So we provide the username, we provide the password, port number and the server number, and finally click on execute. So here we have execute, so let us click execute. So once we click execute, so here we created a connection with the name source underscore HANA. So I'll go back. Let us give the name over here. So this is the name of the connection that we just created. So this is the name of the connection we just created. Okay. So we are able to connect to source. Now what we are going to do, so on the source side, you have a table. I would like to access this table. So the table that we have it over here, I would like to access this table using this connection to HANA system. Now the question over here is, what is the difference between a column table and a virtual table? So what is the difference between a column table and a virtual table? A virtual table is a table that access data on the fly. Virtual tables are tables that can access data on the fly, on demand. Column tables store data on RAM. So the column tables directly store data in memory, whereas virtual table access data via this connection from the source table, and they store it on the cache memory. Now what we are going to do, these virtual tables, we are going to access them inside the calculation view. Why only calculation view? Because attribute views and analytic views cannot consume virtual tables. Attribute views and analytic views, they cannot be able to consume the virtual tables. Only the calculation views support the virtual table. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, so this step is completed. I completed creating a connection. Now here I'm going to create a virtual table, and then I'm going to access inside the calculation view. Let us do step number 2. Let us go back. Let us expand the catalog. Let us go to the best schema. Expand the best schema. Right click on tables. Click new virtual table. Excuse me. Click new virtual table. So once you are creating a new virtual table, now please see, either you can create a virtual table something like this, or the other way is go to the connection. What we need to do, expand the provisioning. Once you expand the provisioning, expand the remote sources. So here, what is the connection name? Please see, source underscore HANA. So I'll go to source underscore HANA connection. So this is the connection. So the other way to do this is, please see, I can also expand the connection, expand this, go to the schema from which you would like to access the table. Expand the schema. What table you would like to access? Let's say I would like to access, here there's a table called department. Let's see what table I would like to access here. Some tables. So I'll just access this department table from the best schema. So let us scroll to the bottom and let us access the schema. So here you have the department table. So I'll right click on the table. So the other way is just right click on the table, and here you have an option called add virtual table. So this way also we can do. Just right click on the table, add as a virtual table. So once I click on add as a virtual table, it is going to ask create a table name and select the target schema. So it is asking us to specify the table name. I'll give it as I'll give some table. So this is the table I would like to create as a virtual table. And this table I would like to create in this schema called best. And I'll click create. So what is the step we are doing? So which step are we doing over here? So we're doing the step number 2. Step number 2 is to create a virtual table. So I'll go back and I'll click create. So once I click create, now here you can see the virtual table remote underscore DEPT is added to the schema called best. So let us click OK. Now what we'll do, I'll scroll to the top. I'll just close the catalog, like click refresh. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to access the created table, where it is created in the best schema. I'll expand the catalog. I'll go to the best schema. I'll expand the best schema. I'll right click on tables. Click filter, give the table name. So what is the table name? Remote underscore DEPT. I'll click OK. So once I click OK, expand the table. So here we can see the table called remote underscore DEPT. So step number 2 is complete. So let us go back. So please, step number 2 is complete. We created a virtual table. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this virtual table inside a calculation view. So I'll go back. I'll close the catalog. I'll expand the content. Excuse me. So once I expand the content, right click on the package, click new, click on the package. Let us give the name. So I'll give the name as SDA. Provide the description and click OK. So I'll go to the package SDA underscore 009. So here you have the package. Let us right click on the package, click new, click on the attribute view. Just I would like to show whether it is going to support inside the attribute view or not. So I'll click on the attribute view. Let us give the name AT underscore DEPT and click finish. So once we click finish, so let us scroll to the top, close the content, expand the catalog. So where are we going? We're going to the schema. Why are we going to the schema? To drag and drop this table inside the data foundation. When I drag and drop the table inside the data foundation, what does it say? For virtual table support, a calculation view, a calculation view must be created. Do you want to copy this as a calculation view? So it is asking, it cannot support attribute views, so you would like to convert this as a calculation view. If you click yes, it is going to convert to a calculation view. So I'll just say no, because I would like to create it freshly. So I'll again go back to content. I'll go back to the package SDA 009. I'll right click on the package. Let us click new. Click on the calculation view. Let us give the name CV underscore DEPT. Provide the label, nothing but the description. View type, let us select this as, data category. Let us select this as dimension and click finish. Once I click finish, let us scroll to the top, expand the catalog, go to the best schema, drag and drop the remote table into the calculation view, click on the projection on the work area. So what is the use of a projection, participants? A projection, nothing but selection of columns. What columns you require from the base table, you can select inside the projection. So a link to the projection. So someone created this table, but just we're trying to access department ID and department name. We haven't checked the table, just randomly I've taken. Link the projection to the projection. Click on the projection, select the required columns, click on semantics, at least one key, click validate, and click save and activate. Select the request and click finish. So what did we do? We're accessing this remote table inside the calculation view. Now let us click data preview. I'm not sure whether we have data. This time I'm just trying to access. Click on raw data. Yes, we have some data over here. How much time does it take? 125 milliseconds. So for the first time, when we are accessing the table, it is taking about 125 milliseconds. Click refresh once again. Once I refresh, please see 46 milliseconds. Refresh once again, 9 milliseconds. Refresh once again, 8 milliseconds. Refresh once again. Please see. So only for the first time. So what is system trying? So if you see here, I'm trying to access. First it was showing 125, then 46, then 10, then 9. So every time when I'm trying to access, it is trying to minimize the time of access. Why do you think it is trying to minimize the time of access? Because for the first time, when we are trying to access data, what system is trying to do? Here is the calculation view. You're trying to access data for the first time. It has to go using this connection to the source, access data from source, back to the virtual table, and to the front end. Second time when I'm trying to access, now where is the data? It's in here inside the SAP HANA at the cache memory. So second time again it need not go back to the source. Just it is accessing from the HANA system itself. So from here itself it is trying to access. Okay, participants?
If you want to see the assignment for today's session, go to Dropbox Set to folder, go to Set to Assignments, open SAP HANA Admin Assignments. Here you can find the for configure password policy, create user in SAP HANA.
Here you see there is an exercise with Smart Data Access. Double click on Smart Data Access. Open the document. So here we can see what is Smart Data Access. So here I given a step-by-step document on how we have to work on smart data access. Thank you all the participants to attend today's session. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.